right, so here's where it stands. The current intent, it is not law yet, but the current intent of the Biden administration is that companies employing 100 more people will soon need to require their workers to get the COVID-19 vaccine. And the federal government is already doing it. Okay. It is unclear right now when the Department of Labor will issue the mandate to the private sector. So is it going to happen? If I was a betting man, and I'm not, but if I was a betting man, I would say that it's not going to actually go through. There's a whole bunch of legal messes here, states, and just all kinds of mess. But that is the intent of the Biden administration. We shall see. You need to be prepared for it. Okay. Now, the federal government, as I said, already requiring, and that is happening. Okay. Americans with Disabilities Act does excuse some people from the mandatory vaccination. There's a lot of misinformation out there. Let me just say this. They post these things on social media. I'm literally reading the news. And these people will come after me and say, Ken, you're supposed to tell people what to do. You are in a position of influence, Ken. And you should tell people you are being irresponsible. Well, okay. I'm just not going to tell anybody anything about what they should do with their health. You know why? This is very exciting. I'm not a doctor. Even if I stay the night at Holiday Inn Express, I will never feel rested enough to tell people what they should do with their health. Consult your doctor. Is that a good enough position? Thank you very much. Consult your doctor. That's between you and your doctor. Okay. But the Americans with Disabilities Act requires employers to provide reasonable accommodations to workers with medical conditions that would make them unable to get a vaccine. So the U.S. EEOC, that's the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, does recognize this. And according to the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, these civil rights protections apply even during emergencies and can't be waived. So again, no, if you're one of these people that has some health conditions to where your doctor says the vaccine would not be good for you, you are protected here. You need to do your homework and talk with your employer. Now, the religious exemption, I want to cover this because I think early on I brought it up as a possibility. I can tell you, I don't think it's going to hold any water because now Pope Francis has come out and said it's not a religious exemption. I've recommended that Catholics get vaccinated. So if you're going to object to receiving a vaccine when your employer requires it, if you don't have that Americans with the Disabilities Act exemption under the EEOC, they can fine you and they can fire you. And so if you want to fight it, you can fight it. But if people have called in on the show and I just say, look, the decision that you make, you've got to live with the decision you make. And so if you're forced out, you better have a plan. And I'm all for men and women of principle doing what they believe is right, whether I think it's right or not. That's the American way. But please don't let this sneak up on you. At this point, it should not sneak up on you. And I don't want you to take a big financial hit because you weren't prepared for this. This is where we are. Is it where we're going to be 3 months from now? I don't know. And honestly, anybody that tells you otherwise is full of it too. We just don't know where this thing is going. And so that's where it is. I want you to be aware of it, and I want you to make a plan for it.